for, chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth in this divine energy essence of it all. Reporting to you live from nowhere other than the fifth dimension, 5D, in the place to be. Speaking of, thereof, wherewith, there out, all of that hitherto type of conversation. Speaking of all of that, where we are now in 5D. 5D. Welcome, welcome. We want to talk a little bit more about this 5D, this fifth dimension, especially since we are approaching the 5D independence. Those of you who have your calendars, please check the calendar of, is it this month, of Anubis? May not see it on this month. It's at the end. Let me put on some light so we have a little bit more light. There we go. Bright light, peace, love, and light. Welcome in. Happy whatever day this is for you. I believe it's Thursday. You know, it's hard to keep up when the frequencies are moving the way that they're moving, when the accelerated, light energy, all of that that's happening right now. So welcome to those who are just getting into 5D. Get a look around, feel the vibrations. It does feel different. It's almost like you're climbing a mountain. It's a soul ascension process. So it's as if the air is getting thin, which is why the veils are getting thin, because the air is thin. It's the altitudes. You're raising the vibrations. And when you go higher, it gets thinner. So that's why the veils are thin for some of you, because of your altitudes, because of your soul ascension and where you're going. So let's get into that. As usual, I bring you the news to infuse with, if you so choose to infuse with that light. And remember, if you don't, that's fine too, but just know that you're refusing that light. If you don't infuse, you refuse. And then be prepared to get what? Fried on the grid, like a lot of people getting right now. And even some of us that are ascending in our light work and doing our work, a lot of us are touching that electrified fence, so to speak, the internet, the bandwidth, the light grid, that fence. A lot of us are, you know, getting electrocuted on the grid. So I just feel like bringing in the good news with my Palo Santo. So that's what I'm sharing with you. Um, where do we want to? There's a lot to go where with. Let's talk about this 5D though. There's a little bit more I want to get into it, 5D, in regards to shifting timelines, in regards to, it was a question I had not too long ago about the timeline shifting and quantum leaping, and that the timelines, knowing that the timelines are collapsing. So as the timelines are collapsing, um, then we're shifting, and it goes hand. It's that way. Is the way I had to explain it. It's because the timelines are shifting. You're quantum leaping as the timelines are. Let me say this correctly, because yes, the timelines are shifting, but I'm specifically talking about timelines that are collapsing. Like when you hear people say the timelines are collapsing, it's not like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like there's a building collapsing on your head. It's the timeline is almost being like like closed out, kind of like that. Like that timeline that you existed in, once you work through it, once you push through a certain level of illusions, it's like you collapse those timelines and that's it. Now you shift. It's like and you shift into your next, time grid. You shift into your next slot. You shift the dimensional timelines within your own soul. There are multiple lines. There are multiple levels of timelines. We're really talking about the timeline that you're existing in, that you choose to exist in. And the more we break illusions, is you may hear some people call it breaking the matrix, all of that. The more you break the illusions is the more you break out of that matrix, right? Which that matrix, as I heard someone beautifully say, it's not somebody out there creating the matrix. It's we who are co-creating these illusions, because these illusions comes from fear. So if you have any fears, then you have illusions. If you have any fears, know that you are in a mind state of lack. You're not in abundance, you're in the state of lack, whatever that fear is. right? And then that brings forth the illusions. And then so we co-create and proliferate our creations and co-creations with our general recreations of what we're experiencing in time. And so we then create that matrix, so to speak, because of our participation in it by our belief in the illusions. So the more we break these illusions, which is what we are heavily working on right now, a lot of us don't realize how important us being here at this time during the Neptune in Pisces pass through right now, that transit that's happening right now, that's not going to happen for another 200 and something years. A lot of us took this opportunity to utilize the energy that comes with that, which is to break illusions. To when we come to the closing, Pisces being the final sign, so it's closing out of the spiritual house, closing out, taking out any illusions if we allow it. If not, we double down in illusions. For those who do not evolve through this particular transit, they will devolve and they will double down in illusions, locking their soul in its karmic imprint even that much more. So we're really being elevated for those who choose to evolve to that next level. So that is doing the work that it takes to cancel out illusions. And that takes a big deal of work and courage, because you pretty much have to unlearn everything that you think you know to be true. You have to be willing to cancel out a lot of things, traditions, um, just old ways, ways that you believe that you are, because you don't truly know yourself at that higher level yet. So all of these things have to cancel out. All of these illusions that are built with that essence of us has to cancel out, and therefore having the time collapse. When you work through, which is doing shadow work, right? That's another thing I want to talk about, what we can do to remove the illusions. There's a lot of things we can do. But shadow work, soul work, when we do these works, inner childhood work, everything that really removes the impurities from your soul. And I'm not talking religiously, I'm talking spiritually speaking, multiple levels of removing the soot off of your soul, removing the karma trauma off of your soul. By doing that, you break certain illusions, not just in this lifetime, but also in previous lifetimes. Like, you're really, a lot of us are doing the big chunk of the work right now. You light warriors, you star seeds, you 144, a lot of us that are coming to our 144, and I'm not talking about a number of people, I'm talking about that frequency 144. A lot of us are here to break these illusions, shatter the glass of these illusions, so that we can collapse that old timeline, like shut it all down. A lot of us are individually collapsing our timelines, right? There's the individual, there's the collective. The more of us that individually collapse our timelines, it's like the more we put the pressure on, the more we pressure that timeline, and there can be a collective timeline collapse, which is what we're aiming for in going towards the fifth dimension. Just keep doing what we do to collapse our own timelines. And every time you collapse a timeline, you quantum leap into your next dimensional timeline. You have to close out one to enter into the next, right? This is the death to rebirth experience. So a lot of us, if you want to know what 5D look like, if you haven't experienced not one, because a lot of us are quantum leaping. It's not just one big quantum leap. A lot of us are peeling layers off of our soul in our ever evolving walk. So it's a continuum, it's continuing. And so you're peeling and you're moving, you're collapsing timeline after timeline. If you haven't felt a strong change in your perspective, your belief, who you are, how you do things, things that you probably thought you would never do, like how I have a cat right now. Like, there's things that's that Lyran, my Lyran codes are coming online. My star seeds, you know what I'm talking about. Because some of us are from, different stars. We think we've just from one. Some of us have traversed through multiple stars. So Yeah, that's I guess my Lyran side. I'm aware of the Syrian side, but I know my Styrian star seeds, but the Lyrans, like this whole meow cat thing coming out. So different things happen at different times. But either way, I just say that to share with you, there may be some of you that are doing things that you're like, I would have never done this. If someone told me I was doing this in such and such time, I would tell them no. That's because you are on a different timeline right now. We are vibrating at different frequencies. And so there's a lot of information coming in. There's a lot of things that are coming in that are helping us to continue to to shift the timelines, quantum leap. Every time you quantum leap, know that a timeline has collapsed. Every time you collapse a timeline, know that you have quantum leap, right? And that's all part of like I keep seeing as I'm talking about it, I keep seeing this peeling off, right? Like there's it's this peeling off process, and I get the image of Wolverine. I've know I've used this as an example before, but I'm seeing it again, like Wolverine when he's trying to get to Jean, and she just with whatever her phoenix energy, she's blasting and blasting, and he's taking each one and just regenerating and regenerating. But there's this constant peeling that's happening, and that's what's happening as we're entering into 5D. Like some of us are coming in through turbulence. It's like that type of turbulence. We're coming in and it's just peeling, like it's peeling all of that stuff off of our flesh, right? So to speak, right? Because these are our fleshly thoughts, our egoic type of identity. All of that is peeling off when you enter into 5D, because 5D is the love frequency. 5D is expansion. 5D is unity. It's everything unified, existing simultaneously at the same time. Everyone in equal measure. Um, According to the love and light, we all have access to it, right? Outside of our ego. So we're all, you know, geared. I wouldn't say geared, but we're all capable, right? That's why when I usually get messages, it doesn't say willing and able bodies. It's always willing and ready, because we're all able, we're all capable and ready. So it's a matter of being willing. So the willingness is what it takes. Everybody can say they're willing, but the willingness is when you will to do in a way where you have a certain type of surrender, a certain type of overstanding of self, knowing of self, where you can just evolve to that next level. That's when you have that, experience with you, right? I'm feeling a tug on something else. Okay, where we want to go, like, ooh, over here. Um, so yeah, really keeping us focused on what has to be done, which is the constant peeling of the layers, the collapsing, the work is what, okay, that's what you wanted me to pull me into. The work that has to be done, and what I'm being called into right now. There seems like there's some type of, I wouldn't say urgency, but like a let's move in now. Like I'm seeing this little slot that some of us are being called into. Let me say that. I don't want to say required, but more like there's this calling. And it's time to, there's another shift happening. As we all notice, there's a lot energetically happening in the stars. There's the planetary alignment. There's all the planets about to go direct. There's the nodes that just shift, right? There's a lot energetically that's really kind of doing this to us right now. There's a shift, and a lot of us are falling into our alignments or standing in our alignments, or and being called into that. So one of the things that I know I'm being called to do is share, and just stick with me if whoever this is for, because I'm taking it as it's coming to me. It's not something that is in far away preparation. And most of you who know me, who have been with me in workshops, you know that I go when spirit goes. When spirit say, this is a green light, this is a now, this is a train ride that we're hopping on right now, all aboard, whoever it's for. So I feel another detox to detach that has really been calling on me lately, including me. I've been feeling the fast to detox coming in, and there is a detox to detach. Why I'm saying this, because this too is part of how we can do our shadow work and evolve. It's basically like positioning ourselves. We are now in a place where we're positioning ourselves through this shift, for this shift, utilizing the energies, the celestials that are all here to help us manipulate the matter, right? The energy bodies of the mind, which is the universe, right? The planets, everything, the cosmos. Let me say it that way. The cosmos in me, the cosmos in you, our guiding lights are here to help us orchestrate all this energy that moves matter. It's moving us. It's moving what we want to manifest. It's moving us to move the new earth, right? So a lot of us are being called right now, whoever this is for, to this is the second one that I'm sharing with all to do the detox, the detach. Why this has been coming to me, it's about 6 months since we did the last one, which was in the opposition of where we are now, when the sun was in Leo. And there was an activation, there was a call at that time. Specifically, those of you, a lot of us met at the gathering of the masters around that time. There was the walking through the halls of Amenti, the 888, like there was a high energetic time. And we are in that opposite spectrum. We are on the opposite end of that 180, if you will, right? We're on the opposite side of Leo now, where the sun is in Aquarius, and we have a different energy coalition going on here. Um, and they're slide to bring it back to me, spirit, into the new earth, the new age, into bringing 5D, right? Which is the age of Aquarius, is helping us to usher that in. So we're being ushered into the age of the Aquarius, especially with the sun in Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius, giving us all the revelations that we need to give us our personal power in this Aquarius, not only season, but Aquarian age. So the we're in that opposite position, right? I say all that to say that we're opposite of the Leo. So there's something happening with all these energies right now, where those who have been called before, this may be a recall for you. For those who maybe missed the call the last time, especially if your coordinates line up with this, which was usually people at that time. Believe I was telling you to look at your chart. If you have anything in Mars, if your Mars or your Uranus was in one of these certain alignments. At this time, what I'm getting is Uranus. Until I'm listening out for another planet, but I'm going to say look at your Uranus. And if your Uranus is in any one of the fixed signs, which would be, let me just say that for those of you who don't know fixed, would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. That grand cross right there, those fixed signs, if they are in any, because they are in aspect. If they are in Aquarius, if they are in, um, yeah, any one of these fixed ones is what I'm looking at. Because right now, the current Uranus is in Taurus, in the earth right now, which a lot of things are being changed in the earth. A lot of things that have been happening while Uranus is running through Taurus is really changing up, because Uranus is really that Oya energy planet. It's sudden change, lightning bolt change, time to shake it up. Futuristic. It's helping us to change to get into that next level, the future of ourself. So it is changing up how we see our possessions in the earth, how we see people, how we possess everything, anything material, um, money, people, relationships, all of that is earth. Anything earthly, think of it like that. Right? So there are a lot of changes happening in the earth with Uranus, and Uranus rules Aquarius. So that right there brings us back to that Aquarian energy, Aquarian age. So it's really helping us to bring us into the future of the Aquarian energy, or also known as the age of the knowing. All right. So all of this is this. I'm saying this so that some of us just understand the work. Okay, there we go. I was gonna check the light. So with that said, I offer, let me be clear, I offer that again, the next detox to detach. The date to start is TBA, 2 ounce, but very soon within, turn this off. All right, we're back. I had a little pause there. Let me turn off the light. It's apparently it's taking some energy. See, the way we use our light takes the energy. Let me turn down that light. Um, Maybe the light is too bright for some, especially out there in the dark. But let me bring it back in. The detox to detach is TBA, to be announced. It's going to be within this window, within this vortex from 2/2 to 2:20 that we're in. I'm feeling more likely with last 9 days because remember, it's from 2/2 to 2:20 is 18 days, and it is 2 9s, right? 2 completion days, complete spiritual completion times 2. There we go. So we're going to be in the second part of the spiritual completion, doing that. So I will get that date to you. This detox is not just, okay, there we go. Let me know if you're still here, anyone who is here, because I'm getting reconnection here on my end. Um, the detox to detach, I was explaining, it's not just food, it's letting go of old habits, old concepts, old ways of thinking. It's kind of like a quick, this is not for everybody. This is kind of like a, what you call an accelerated course, an accelerated pace, and an accelerated course in um, peeling the layers, if you will, removing the soot off of your soul, giving your body a break, putting your flesh down so you can really listen to the spirit. And this is really good to do right now during the respiriting season. So the food plays a part of it because the food is information. What we put in our body is information. It's speaking to our cells at a very vibratory level. The meats are very dense. Let me just say that. So yes, meats do come off the rack because the meats are very, very dense. Anything that it takes to break your body down, that your body, anything that it takes that your body has to break down. So it's not just meats, it's carbs. I'll explain it to you for those who do join the group. For those of you who know, who've done it with us, you already know, right? The main three things that we stay away from is meats, carbs, and sweets. Meats, carbs, and sweets. If you don't remember anything else, remember that. So when you're ready to do your spiritual work, whether you're catching it this time with us or not, but when you're ready to do it, when you really want to put that body down, and really allow the spirit to rise within, um, meats, sweets, and carbs. Just put those away for a good at least 7 days. It's really good if you can do 14 days, a good 2 weeks, but at least 7 days. I'm going to go ahead and set it, if you can at least do 3. Because, everyone has to start at different levels. I usually tell people that start any type of fast or detox, do it for one day. At least commit to one day of whatever that fast is, whether it's all juices, no foods, all whatever it is, commit to doing it for at least one day. And once you can accomplish that, then go another level up. 2 days, 3 days, not 2 days. I usually go from 1 to 3. And if you can do 3, go to 5, then 7. All right, so just to share that with you, the detox, though, to detach is not just about food. We're going to be holding back from the things that we know we should not be using. And this is why there can't be a black and white. It's not a blanket that can cover everybody. You have to really know you and be willing to be honest with yourself to detach from certain things, right? One of the 3 things that I always, let me say these 3 things. I haven't said it in a while, but I usually share with people when I'm in my spiritual communities, is one of the downloads that I got originally in 2022. One of the first downloads, upon celebrating the 5D, getting ready for 5D independence. The three things are: one, to fast from any foods or any behaviors in any way possible; two, to remove yourself from any low vibrational person, places, or things; and three, to do anything it takes to raise your vibrations to like the 10th degree, like whatever that is for you, the thing that you know that really enhances your higher essence, that really makes you feel like you're in a state of bliss, in a state of euphoria, energetically speaking. Anything that you do that has you feeling like that, that is very healthy for you, as in gardening, as in swimming, as in dancing, as in anything, painting, creating, anything that puts you in that place that just ultimately raises your vibrations. It could be taking a spiritual bath, um, whatever it is that is for you. Those three things, that is another way to help you navigate through the turbulence of quantum leaping and um, timeline collapsing, soul work, shadow work, all of that that's being done. It helps you navigate through that, right? And there's so much more to this collapsing timelines that I want to share with you, but that's the main thing that I wanted to share, so that we understand how this works when we're going into 5D, what it feels like. And this is where you feel like you'll be doing things just differently. um, One of those things that I definitely would like to share before I go is, we really got to understand, and I'm speaking to my chosen of the chosen of the chosen few who really are already walking around in 5D. We really have to get to that level where we see that at this frequency you cannot give. Speaking of timelines collapsing, we have to understand that when you collapse a timeline, you're no longer in that timeline with others in the way that you were. You're no longer a vibrational match. So even though you're communing and connecting with them, it's like you've shifted your vibrational connection with them and the frequencies that you share. So you're outside of that timeline. I'm saying this so that we understand this. Please be careful and be mindful with your giving. A lesson that I really had to learn while I was here, in my ancestral place. I can't give, not even to family. Like, it's like it had to be shown to me to that degree. I can't give to those who are on a lower, let's say a lower timeline. They're just in a different timeline, and we're not. They're on a lower vibration in their timeline. Um, when you give to them, keep in mind that you give with your frequencies. You give with the level that your frequency is at. Not that you mean to, but that's your frequency. So when you give, what comes with that is that frequency level that you are on, and it's going to penetrate, or whatever it is, to that person on that level. There's going to be some type of ricochet back to both of you. There's going to be kickback for both of you. So it is actually not the wisest thing. I don't want to say dangerous, or I don't want us to be walking around in fear, because I'm not saying anything to fearmonger. This is for clarification, for being cautionary, being wise. That if you give, and this is what I was being shown, when we give, those of us in 5D that are on higher frequencies, when we give, it is, if you give, it's not to say you can't give to those on lower vibrations, but when you give, it has to be with those who have what I call reciprocal, or it's like, I'm saying I call, but this is how I heard it, reciprocal energy, meaning that they give love forward, meaning they walk in a level of forgiving. They are in the living, in their living, they are forgiving. And I don't mean just forgiving people for what they do when they do something to them, or when they just say, oh yeah, I forgive. But I mean truly living in forgiving means you are living in a state of always giving love forward, because that is what forgiving is, to give love forward. And in doing so, you're walking in a certain consistency. You're walking in a certain frequency domain, so to speak, just by being forgiving. You don't have to be on a high 5D level, right? Those that can receive for you they can be on a 3D level. Um, they just have to have reciprocal energy, which means they're not filled with resistance. They're not filled with what I call wounds or bullet holes. I call them bullet holes of resistance. The more resistance that they have in their at the level they're in, they're not at a level of forgiving. They don't know how to give love forward in a certain degree, innocently, even intuitively, even. They don't know how. So we have to be mindful. If they don't have reciprocal energy, then no, it is not wise to give to them. And I'm saying this very important thing so we understand in 5D. Those of you in 5D, I want us to understand it's not, oh, because you're in 5D, you can't give to people. It's really being responsible and accountable with the energies that you walk with and that you carry and that you are attuned to. And being responsible means not imposing on those who are just not there yet, right? And it helps minimize the chaotic kickback. It helps to minimize the debris, the dirt that kicks up. It's basically like treading carefully through the desperate energies, right? And again, not being scary, not being fearful, but being in a place of just wisdom and being able to even help you move through ease. It's not just watching out for them, it's keeping down that dust and debris, that desperate energy database, demonic, reptilian, archonic, whatever you want to call it, energies, keeping a low profile. Your light is already bright. So it's kind of like doing that also helps to keep the dust down, keep a low profile while you go through and light the path and do what you got to do, right? Because if not, we pull on certain things that come out of the corner. We call on these desperate energies to be the hit dog that hollers and will holler and bite you, right? Or we pull on things that cause us to have to now step out. Not really step out, but focus more on certain things in the lower vibrations to help, or just to, it's not to help them stay where they are, but we end up being pulled into it, just into our regular day-to-day living. So because we live in a world where mostly everybody around us are not yet in 5D, right? Although most of us are waking up to it. Peace, love, and light, Diamond. I see you. Peace. All right. Peace in the 5D. Welcome into the 5D lounge. But yes, we have to be very mindful not to give in that way. Be mindful that when you give, we are giving to those that have reciprocal energy and they're in flow with you already so that they can receive that. So that's definitely one of the message I had going in my head. Like, we in 5D, we got to understand we got to understand others' capacity, the capacity that they're at. They're in a city that is capped. And we got to understand that so we know how we're flowing through. So with that, there's a lot of things going on right now as we help usher in the 5D. So as I said, there is a lookout for the detox, the detach, for those who are, check your chart. Let me say that again. Check your chart and look to see if your Uranus is in one of the fixed signs. If you're not sure, feel free to email me, as some of you have done before. If you want to be a part, just say, I'm ready for the detox to detach. I'm ready for the next level of me, whatever that is, because you may hear this from other groups. I know I'm not the only one. You may hear little callings here, even on YouTube. Find what fits you, is what I would say. Find what resonates with you. Chances are, if you're here for a reason. But find what resonates with you, and see what it is that you feel called to align with, right? And I would suggest getting in one of these starseed groups, or soul work groups, light worker groups, whatever it is that they may be called, temple groups. Like there's so many names for them, but see what fits with you. And right now, while the planets are in a planetary alignment and everything else I said about Aquarius is this being a hot spot, a hot energetic, let the universe hot spot you right now. Like it's a hot spot, so get in and do that work. You don't have any excuse, just use the opportunity to say I'm ready and willing. The universe is not asking you if you got this or you got that. It's saying, are you willing and ready for the next level? That's it. And once you know that you are, then step into it. Do the detox. If this is for you, hey, if you've been feeling the call to eat something different, or you've been feeling the call to just kind of put down your body a little bit, if you, whatever it is, look into it and see if that's for you, if it resonates for you. um what else is there? Look at the nodes. Another thing that I saw that this was lining up with, as I said last year, 6 months ago, it was a lot of us that got together at the gathering of the masters, and this one, which was done by, I think it's a Black 363, for those of you who know. And this one now is happening around the time that he's having the, I realized this. I was like, this is happening around the same time as the last one, and he's having a 9 ether. There you go. So for those of you who were even in the rooms when we had the, I forgot what it was called. Something I've never used before and will probably never use again. Let me not speak too soon. But he had this network where everybody was on. So some may be from that network, and this may be that opportunity again if this comes up across your feed, because a lot, we did cross paths at that time. A lot of us starseed connections, that is a crossing bridge for a lot of us. So I'm speaking to some of you who may be in this same cross bridge, this same connection, whether it be through here right now through this channel as well as that channel that is crossing somehow around this high energetic time. And there is something reflective that is happening from 6 months ago, right? That is also going to be foretelling the next 6 months, right? Of where we're to be. So with that said, you know, it's another galactic gathering. It's another starseed get together. Like the stars are really lining up. And I mean, all of us stardust star seeds, we're really lining up and coming online and collapsing more. Do not be afraid of the timeline collapsing, because it's only an advancement for you pushing your own dimensional timeline. So, and there's other works you can do, you know, the soul work, the ancestral work, as I'm doing, inner childhood work. Any of that that you're doing is good, but please consider, I'm hearing a lot about food right now. So if a lot of you are feeling that pull to do something different on food, this is definitely one of those ways. And in the detox or detach, we also practice understanding why food comes up, and that really helps in your journey, because it helps you to pay attention and listen to your body a little bit more when you have a certain craving for something. And that's something we go deep into the workshop, or into the, I call them all workshops, but into the detox, the detach, um, you know, I'm gonna call it the 5D program. It's one of the 5D programs to get into. So I'm making that call now. Again, put your ears up. If it's for you, it's for you. It's time to get in the workshop and do the detach, do the detoxing, because there's a lot that we want to connect to in our spirit. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So with that, ooh, 33, 33, master number 33 is the master creator. And yes, it is time for us to realize our creatorship, what we co-create, right? So let's go in, break up. All of this helps to break up the illusion of intrusion, the illusion of separation, the illusion of all that is happening right now. Money, politics, all of this is one big illusion. Be willing to be soul sovereigns, authentically you, truly liberated from this dogmatic matrix, this database matrix, and be able to attune to the next frequency timeline and step into your divine matrix. There's always going to be some kind of matrix. This universe is a program and a system and all of that, but not programs the way we think, not programmed to control you, but there is a system, right? And we're all a part of it. So get with the program, right? We got to get out of that program to get with this program. So yes, my master 3, those of you who are here with me, you are the master 3. You are the 33 mastermind, master number, whatever you want to call it. Let the creation come through you, which is true from you, right? The universe in you. So with that said, love you all. Look forward to seeing whoever shows up for the Detox to Detach. Email me at divineenergystudio@gmail.com for that, for the calendar. If you still want the first calendar, um, please remember to like, subscribe, share so we could continue to stretch this bandwidth. Comment if you dare so we can continue the conversations, all of that. If you want to also give any donations towards the retreat, all of that is, you can email me at any of that so we can have a sponsorship for those who really would like to be there. So happy again, whatever day this is for you. Love and light. Collapse in timelines with all your might. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out. Hearts right back at you. Be true to you. Peace, love, and light.